Hello. My name is Pranav, and I'm going to be teaching you middle school level chemistry. And today we're going to be learning about some basic bonds and how to balance some equations. Keep in mind that there are actually many type of bonds, but we usually refer to two as the main core bonds, and we'll be discussing about that very soon. Okay. So firstly, um, when we say bond, what does it mean? Okay, so a bond, the synonym of a bond is like one of the synonyms is connection. So when you say that this person has a close bond with this person, it means that they have some connection with each other. Now, in more chemical terms, it would mean like the connection between two or more atoms, right? And now these core bonds that often talked about. One of them is ionic bonds. This is basically a bond between a metal and a non-metal. And basically, this bond is formed by the transfer of electrons from the metal um, metal atom to the non-metal atom. Okay, and by doing this, so what happens is that the the metal that transfers the electron to the non-metal becomes positively charged because it loses its electron, and the non-metal gains an electron, so it becomes negatively charged. And we know that um, the positive and the negative signs are attracted to each other, and that's how the bond is formed. Okay. Okay. The next one is called covalent bond. Now this is a another core bond, and this is a bond that's formed by sharing of valence electrons. Okay. Now, okay. In nature, there are like some of the nonmetals that don't appear as like a single atom. They're often paired, right? And now here's like some of the lists. One of them is hydrogen. Hydrogen appears as H2. Nitrogen is N2, and fluorine is F2. Oxygen is O2. Iodine is I2. Chlorine as Cl2. Bromine as Br2. Now, um, keep in mind that when they're sharing the electrons, it doesn't have to be equal. Now, it all depends on the atom that the covalent bonds between. Now, if it's between, for instance, if it's between like oxygen and fluorine, what's gonna happen is the one that's more electronegative, or electronegative basically means the like the ability to attract electrons. Okay, so if it's more electronegative, basically it means that the electron will be more pulled towards it, right? So if it's between fluorine and oxygen, obviously we know that fluorine being the highest electronegativity, and oxygen being like somewhat high, but fluorine is higher. So what will result is that the fluorine would pull the oxygen, the electrons being shared more towards the fluorine, making the fluorine more slightly negatively charged, while the oxygen being slightly positively charged. Okay, so yeah, this is something you should also get used to at an early time, just like balancing equations. Um, Balancing equations isn't really that difficult. Anyone can do it. All you need is just basic mathematical skills and just division as well. But one of the things that you should know is whenever there are like odd numbers or something like that, and you get like some decimals or anything, just multiply it and make sure it is a whole number. It shouldn't be a fraction or decimal. Okay. it should be a whole number. Now, yes, this is a good way to solve like balancing equations, because here you can see this person has listed out how many how many atoms are in this on the left hand side, and how many there are on the right hand side. And as you can see, it's balanced. Well, let's count again. N, yeah, it has 1. H3, there's 3 H's, hydrogens, and then there's another hydrogen, so that's 4. Okay, that's correct. And there's 1 chlorine, that's correct. And let's count here again. There's 1 1 nitrogen, okay. There's 4 hydrogen, okay, and there's 1 chlorine. That's it. So, wait, let me search for some more. Just a moment. Let's see. Okay. So, you have seen that in this example, there isn't exactly like a number in front of like a number like right here or anything like that. So like, if you can this, okay. One thing that you should be aware is that, for instance, the 2 in here, what it suggests is that the in this side there's going to be 2. I think it's mercury. Yeah, 2 mercury and 2 oxygen. So the 2 here is being multiplied to both of them. It's gonna be Hg2O2. Okay, you should just make sure you remember that. Don't get confused about that. And I think that's it for today. Thank you for listening. I'm not sure if I should make it more difficult. I'm gonna have to probably think about it. Maybe I might make it a little harder, because it gets really difficult later on. So it's better if you guys learn like the complex stuff early, or get like a brief view of it. So yeah, goodbye, have fun.